Good evening, people. It's Javier again, and I'm doing episode 5 tonight on my channel. And this is August 4th of 2020. And I got my good old friend Pablo from 30 plus years ago, at least. And we want to start off by basically touching on the episode of being confident, loving yourself. Not a lot of people have that. And I just wanted to touch base with that with Pablo today. So Pablo, if you don't mind telling the audience, man, uh, you remember wearing the red sweater, man, back in elementary, man. I know it's been at least 30 plus years, man. But
Yeah,
kind
I
of tell the
do. But
people where we started at, man.
before we jump into that, man, first of all, I want to congratulate you on the episodes you've done previously. Keep up the good work, and it's good content. So if you haven't catched it, make sure you catch it, man. And there's pretty good content on each episode.
Appreciate it,
So
man.
no problem, man. Appreciate the work that you do. So to answer your question, man, I mean that's 30 something years ago. Um, but I remember it like it was kind of yesterday. The good thing is I still remember.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I remember we first when we first met, um, you were kind of shy. So I remember your dad, your dad came and your mom came. They both came, and I remember, um, it was kind of like we were all in the same room, and he's like, "Who's this guy?" And then what? And then little by little, we started getting along, and it just became a really good friendship, man. And over the years, like you said, it's been 30 plus years. Let's see, I went to Roosevelt till third grade, um, and then after third grade, I moved over to Herrera. So I lost track with you after that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially because we didn't have a cell phone, man. Like you're a little kid. We're talking about the early what late 80s, about late 80s,
Yeah,
maybe early 90s. And yeah, man, I remember the red sweater. I remember I think you had curly hair, man, if I'm not mistaken, man. I think you had curly
that's when I
hair.
had hair, bro.
Yeah.
Now the hair's gone. But just
Yeah.
talking about that real quick. Do you remember Miss Peterson and Miss Williams?
I do not, man. I cannot lie to you, man. I do not.
That was our first teachers that we had. Remember, we had to go across the halls from each other's room.
Yeah.
We had to walk in the middle of the hallway. There was like a sink, and if you go back to Roosevelt now, that's completely gone. That whole back room where we were at is gone.
You know what's funny when you talk about Roosevelt, man? This is in Houston, Texas, by the way, to other people that are listening that are not in Houston. Here and there, man, I do have dreams of Roosevelt in general.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but I could remember the whole layout, man, back in the back in the early '90s when we were there, man. But it's crazy, man.
Boy, me,
It-
me, me and you had trouble with that ramp. We always used to bust our butts with that.
oh yeah, I
We
remember
would
that
have
ramp.
accidents with that stupid ramp.
Yeah, I remember that ramp. So
um,
tell
but
me,
no, I mean,
tell
for
me,
me, I think
Pablo, if you don't mind, cause I don't know. I think you were the only person that I talked to in that class, man. Of that I don't know what you would call that class, man. But you
that was
know,
we were in such ed. So
yeah, there you go.
um, it was you, me. I don't know if you remember Casey, a little white girl, uh, kind of short.
No, I do not remember, man. I do not
Yeah, it was
remember.
me, you, Casey. Uh, I'm trying to think of who else, but just off the top of my head. But yeah, me and you were pretty much the only ones to talk to each other
Yeah,
because your dad was the one that brought us together to tell you the truth because your dad was always the one, hey, so go over there and go talk to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And
Make
so,
friends.
you'd be like, oh, hey, do I really have to go talk to him? But, we would. And then after that, like, we started becoming really good friends and I got to know your sister. Um, so yeah, I've always been really close with your mom and your dad, and then your sister too.
Yeah, Yeah, I can't believe you remember that, man. I don't remember none of that. All I remember was Pablo with the things attached to your hands. By the way, Pablo, if you don't mind telling the audience about why we were in that class and why you were in that class,
For
that way.
me, I was we can go back a little bit. I was born with premature, and I was born 5 months. My lungs weren't developed. Um, they had told my mom that I wasn't gonna make it 24 hours. Uh, thank God that I was able to do that, and I was able to walk by myself. So when you and I met, um, it was kind of a transition because it was a wheelchair first,
Yeah.
then it was a walker, um, and then crutches after that.
Yeah, I remember the
So
crutches. That's when I remember you. Honestly, I don't remember the wheelchair, man, or maybe the walker, but I remember you in the crutches, man. I really admired that as a kid, man, because I said to myself, if I can do it without a walker and I'm still walking like this, and I see Pablo not even making making a fuss of it, man, it was like that's admiration. That's like something that I'll strive for. Wanted to be.
I mean, honestly, I think, and thank you for that. I don't deserve all the credit. I think the people that deserve most of the credit for me being that way um, was was my mother and my father. They were always pushing to do exercise and keep up and do keep moving around. I wasn't really a big fan of it because, of course, as you know, having a disability sucks. So
Yeah,
you kind of you feel kind of sucky sometimes. You feel kind of your body hurts, and then you have all these kind of situations.
yeah,
Um, but my parents were always, okay, you know how my parents are. Come on, hijo, tú puedes, dale.
yeah,
They were always
yeah,
trying to um, push me um, to the edge, I guess.
yeah,
Sometimes over.
yeah.
but
True.
yeah,
Uh, I know we broke off, man. Like maybe I don't know. I want to say maybe we were like 8 years old, man. I really don't remember, but it wasn't. I want to say at least between second and third grade, where
yeah.
I remember we used to be there in that class. I wanted to talk about when you left Roosevelt. We completely broke, contact because again we don't have phones and this and that from cell phones, whatever. But
Right.
what's funny is that I didn't really. After you left, I think that's when I told my dad that I didn't want to be in that class anymore because I think first of all, I was afraid of being in there, and you weren't there no more, man. So it was like, who do I converse with? Who do I conversate with and talk about this and that? But I took off. But was there anything that you can remember, man, as far as if you felt the way that I felt, man, as far as you think that people will laugh at you and this and that when you left elementary, into middle school?
Well, I don't even think we don't even have to go that far from leaving elementary. I think, and it's funny because I was having this conversation with my wife a couple of days ago. Um, for me, people always look at you funny. They always gave you that look like you weren't normal, like something was wrong with you, right?
Yeah,
So to me, I kind of felt that I wasn't, you know, I was normal, but people would stare at me for different reasons,
yeah,
Um, and it kind of screwed my head a lot because I was always with a smile, right? So people never saw the heartache or the pain that was crying because let's say little John didn't want to play with me or because I was different, right? So
yeah,
it was always something that I'd have to thank my brothers and sisters for being always standing up for me and wanted to make me feel like I was normal because, as you know, people were cool. Kids were cool. Kids were mean.
Yeah.
They would crack jokes. He can't walk, or
Oh yeah.
man, I wonder what's wrong with him. Watch out, he might have cooties or something, or why does he walk like that?
Yeah.
So that made me angry, right? But
Yeah.
our parents always taught us to shut up and not say anything to somebody else, because they didn't know any better, right? But of course, I really wanted to just, kick their ass if I
Yeah.
could, right? But our parents didn't condone that. So when I would get home, of course, you have your moments when you're sad and you're lonely, and you would have. I never accepted it. It took me a long time to accept having a disability. I couldn't understand why I had it. Right? Why out of because my family was four of us, right? It's three boys and a girl, right?
Yeah.
So my older brother, my younger brother, and my sister, they're all they were born normal. So of course you have those questions like, why did it have to be me? Why do I have to deal with this situation? They're fine, right? So it took me a long time, man. After elementary, I went to after I left Roosevelt, I went to Herrera, finished Herrera, went to Burbank Middle, and the thing that was my saving grace, honestly, for me, was music. Like I felt free. I felt because I don't know if you remember, we used to do programs. Do you remember that at Roosevelt?
Programs. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember programs here and there, but not like vividly.
We did we did Sesame Street theme. We did um, Popeye, and we did we did so many things, and it was crazy because like just going back to that. I'm sorry I'm going back and forth, but I just thought about that right now. Like I remember my mom sitting like two rows, and your parents were sitting like two rows behind mine, and like they were so excited, and it's like, what the heck? Like
Yeah.
the school was like we were their own little, I don't know, show, I guess, because our classes were always the ones doing. It was Miss Peters and Miss Williams. They would always put us in the programs with it. We had to do crazy stuff. That just
Okay.
popped in my head.
I can't believe you. Like I said, man, I can't believe you remember that. I don't remember that. I remember the name Williams. I just cannot
Yeah,
put a face or body on that name, man.
dude,
And
I think she was one of our best teachers that we had, honestly, because she pushed like the buttons for us to be better. She would never take no for an answer for you or me. She was
yeah,
always like pushy, and not pushy in a bad way, but she brought the best out in you and me.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's the kind of role models we need when I talk about being confident, being supportive of your own self, no matter what the situation is, the way you're living your life, and the way that you were born. I didn't really, honestly, man, I never really felt confident in life. I don't know if I could ever say that I was depressed, but I was never like, if you could just walk up to a girl, for example, and say, "Hey, how you doing?" That right there, that would be something that I can't even do, man.
I think for me, it's funny you say that because for me, singing was kind of like the breaking of the ice. Doing performances at school and having, but for me to go out and talk to a girl and say what's up and holler at a girl, like that didn't happen till college. So
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of things were delayed. I think the biggest thing was that I wasn't ready to accept who I was, right?
yeah,
Um, and I wasn't ready to be confident in my own skin. and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to give you. And if you like it, cool. And if you don't like it, then what else? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I was ever comfortable until I was like 20. Um, so yeah, I had my heartbreaks and of course, we had that one girl or two girls in middle school or high school that you're like, man, I really like her. You know what I mean? And they look at you like you're a foreign object or like you're from a planet from outer space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, and to top it off, you're dealing with disability, but then you're dealing with hormones and becoming a teenager and all these different changes that you're like, dude, like what the heck is going on,
Yeah.
right? Um, my my thing too that was kind of good for me uh, was that my parents were always in church, so that kind of helped me. But then here begs the question, and I always had that question in my head: if God is so powerful and He can do so many things, and He can just change one thing with His breath, why do I have to go through all this torment? Why do I have to feel the way I feel? Why do I have to be different? And it took me a long time to accept that one, I am different, but I'm unique, right? There's nobody on this planet like me.
Yeah.
There's people that wish they were me and wish that they could be me, but I'm me, and I had to appreciate and love myself. But that took 20 something years, 20, till I was 20.
Yeah. And I think on that note, Pablo, I think there's people that are doing way worse than us, man. I don't know if I know you've personally seen people with no legs that are still driving. I mean, people have no hands and they're still driving. Like these people are out there doing it, and I admire that. And I look at myself having all my limbs and this and that. It just the way I walk, I trip over things like little kids or whatever. But I'm here, man, and it's like, why should I feel sorry for myself? And it's funny because I listen to Mike Tyson's podcast. I don't know if you do, man, but he talks so bad about himself. He's a millionaire, man. To many people, he's a legend. He has money. He did it all. He did this. He did that, and he still talks bad about himself. So when I sit here and look at him talking about his trash and his this and that about himself, like why would you talk like that about yourself when I'm feeling like this and Pablo's feeling like that, and you have it all, and you're still gonna talk bad about
Well,
yourself, like,
but that's just it. Money can't give you everything, and there's the other thing that it goes back to the same thing that I pointed out earlier. If you don't accept who you are and love yourself for who you are and what you are, you're never and nothing's ever going to bring you that total satisfaction and that love that you want to feel, right?
that is
So
true.
because he doesn't feel that love, um, his way of being protected is whooping somebody's ass, right? Because that's how he became the boxer that he is now, right?
Yeah.
So in our case, I think for me, um, and even for you, man, one thing that I want to point out to you, man, you were somebody that it took you a while to get out of your shell, right? But once you got out of your shell, dude, it was like let's go. Like it was funny because I remember we would go to the blacktop and we would have PE, and yeah, I don't know if you remember Mr. Jeff,
Nah, I don't remember
the
this. No, I don't, man. I don't.
well, he was always on our ass because me and you were like, man, I don't want to do this shit. And he'd be like, come on, Javi, come on, Pablo, let's go. And we look at each other like, dude, really, we gotta do this shit. And so he'd make us like run laps and like play with the ball. He'd make you bounce the ball, make you bounce the ball. I'm like, okay, what the hell are you trying to teach me with the damn ball? I don't want to play with the stupid ball. Um, but I think for you and for me, yeah, of course, nobody's gonna understand what we felt or how we felt because they weren't ever in our shoes, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I say to people all the time, unless you've been in my shoes, you can say, "Oh man, one thing I hate is when somebody says, "Oh man, I don't know how you feel." No, you don't. You think you know how I feel, but you don't know how I feel because you're not in my shoes,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So like to me, college was a big change for me, because I started becoming more confident on who I was, what I was about. Like I wanted to become something. I wanted to do something with my life. Um, and so I went to school, went to college, I got a my first degree was in web design, and I finished it, got my degree.
Nice.
Then I went back and I got my second degree in mortgage, and then what did I do after that? Man, just started getting confident with school, and then the girls started getting it. I started getting attention from girls. So I was like, oh damn, they're
Nice.
actually looking at me. You know
Nice.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you get cocky like, oh hey, this girl, she's looking at me or whatever, and so they no longer. I didn't see myself as a disabled. I don't think I ever have looked at myself as a person that has a disability. I've looked at myself as somebody different. Like, what makes you better than me? Nothing. Nothing makes you better than me. We're equal. You
Yeah.
may be smarter than me in a certain sense, or you may be able to move faster than me, but hey, that doesn't change.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the confidence, man. The confidence didn't come till in my 20s, bro. But I think before that, dude, you talking about crying alone in your room, um, not understanding why life was hard, not understanding why you got the choices you got. So there was a lot of hate, and I never showed the hate to somebody else. I always tried to be smiling and happy, but behind closed doors it was different, right?
Yeah.
Um, I became. I think that was my persona, like to show like nothing could touch me, nothing could hurt me, right? But in reality, everything hurt, man. Being looked at, you know, and you hear the kids, hey, what's wrong with him? Why is he look like that? You'd hear
Yeah.
somebody whisper, and you're like, ain't nothing wrong with me, man. What you looking at me for, right? Um, and then as we got older, teenagers, dang man, that girl looks hot. Let me go holler at her. Oh, I like you as a friend. You
No,
know how
I've
many times I
I've
got that
heard that.
line?
I've heard that line many times, man. And yeah, it
I got
sucks.
that line so many times. I was like, damn, man, like, am I gonna be like this for the rest of my life? So, you know, to me, school became important. College became important. That's what I focused on. And then after that was over with, I traveled the state of Texas. Man, I did mortgages in different states. Um, well, San Antonio, just Texas, pretty much all of Texas. Uh, lived in San Antonio for a couple of years. Uh, lived in McAllen for I think a year, 2 years, uh, and then I came back to Houston. And I came back to Houston probably. I've been back. I don't know, 13 years now, maybe at least.
Was it
So,
an everyday thing, Pablo, for you, man? Like to wake up and say ever in your, or how often rather, would it be in your mind if you ever thought about um how would it be if I wasn't like this?
oh, dude, I have to this day I still have dreams. Uh, I have dreams, and I wake up crying because uh, it feels real, right? The dream is like it's the same exact dream every time. Um, it's a dream of me dancing with my mom,
Yeah.
and then I wake up. So yeah, I've had that dream, or I've had that feeling of being normal. Why would it be different? But then I think now that I'm older and that I've lived life a little longer, and I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be who I am, right? I wouldn't be the personality that I have. Uh, because I'm not gonna let you talk shit to me or talk,
Yeah.
you're gonna come at me, I'm gonna come at you too, the same way,
Yeah.
you know. So life taught me to be hard and be confident, because if I wasn't confident, they're gonna eat me alive.
Yeah.
So um, and I think I know God has a purpose for everybody. If you believe in God or don't believe in God, or whatever your preference is, to me, I know that there's some form of God, right, somewhere in this planet, you know, and I think that he knew what he was doing. He knew. I think for me to be able to cross paths with you at the age that we were was a blessing, to me, because I was able to find somebody that was going through the shit that I was going through, right?
Yeah.
You know, uh, how many times did you fall in elementary, and how many times did I bust my ass in elementary? And you look around like, oh shit, did somebody see me?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that hurt. So you're like trying to,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
trying to brush it off so people don't see that shit actually hurt.
Yeah. That's true. Even as a grown man, I would trip and my mom would say, "Te caes," for the people that don't know Spanish, you're gonna fall down. Don't run or don't do that. I mean, she told me that as a grown man, and it was embarrassing because sometimes she would say it in front of my friends, but they all got used to it. But I ain't gonna lie, man, I didn't find the confidence until after high school. After I did 1 year of college, but it was in my first real job that I felt like nobody saw me as somebody that they could just laugh at and make fun of. And this guy's actually doing his thing, man. He's not making an excuse for this and that. And that's how I had to go by, man. And you can't teach that. That's just something that has to come within, I believe.
But you know what? And you know what, bro? I think, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to make this point very clear. Um, and I really hope that people that listen to this come out with this point. And just because you have a disability, just because you're born with one, doesn't mean that you're gonna have to stop life and live life and not live life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it gonna be harder than everybody else? Yeah, you gotta fight for something that you want 10 times harder, right? And it's sad because um, for those that don't know, when you're in disability, you have to go through, you know, uh, 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 you move out of your parents' house and you go live on Section 8. And when you go to Section 8, I did, um, you're living in housing with people that have disabilities, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of made me go like, oh, this is not what I want, right? And it was funny because I was 20, I think 21. Uh, my parents divorced when I was 9 or 10, so um, I really didn't have a lot of contact with my father until not by choice and not on my father's choice, just by circumstances that happen in life. And thank God that I have a really good relationship with my father now. Um, but at the time, when I was 20, 21, I think 20, 21, somewhere around there, I called my father and I said, "Hey, Dad, I got my own place, man. I want you to come over." And I was so excited for myself because I had my own apartment, my own bedroom. It was mine, right? I remember it like it was yesterday. He walks in, he says, "Mijo, esto no es para ti." And for those who don't know Spanish, he's like, "Son, this is not for you." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, this is my spot, man." He's like, "Man,
Yeah.
I have bigger dreams for you, son. This is not you." And we shut the door to the front door, and he was like, "Man, you have bigger fish to fry." And I was like, "Dude, I'm going to college. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Fast forward now to being older, I get it. I understand it now. I understand what he was trying to say at that time, where that there was a bigger goal in life for me, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that if parents don't have that, like my parents were hard. My dad was really strict in the sense of the guys don't get up. You're gonna fall, get up. You're not gonna show weakness. So when he came, when he left, I was like, bro, Like that made me fight even harder for college, for my degrees. So I owe a lot of my confidence, to my brothers, to my sister, to my
Family,
you always
basically.
have that. It's people like I always say something that to raise somebody, it doesn't take one person. It takes a village, right? To influence, it's gonna be more than one person to influence you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you need people that are gonna lift you, inspire you. People that are not gonna be talking about you and this and that. There's a lot of that. I think if you don't have a role model or someone that can push you, like you talked about, like Mike Tyson had. I don't know if you know the story of Mike Tyson, Pablo, but he had a trainer whose name was Cruz de Amado, and he used to tell him, "You can do better. You're gonna be a champion one day, and this and that." You need like it's like a coach. You know, when you bench pressing or lifting weights or Zumba or whatever it is, those people that show you or tell you positive words and that you can. That's the
like
kind of
a motivator, yeah.
yeah. There you go, motivator. That's what I feel like I needed that every day in order to continue, man. But I didn't have it. But we still survived to be able to do for ourselves, and that's basically the main point why I wanted to bring you on board, man. Is that you done it, I done it, and it feels good to people to prove people wrong, man. Because a lot of people, they be in denial or they try to tell you that, people that tell you that you can't do it or just laugh at you or this and that. You got a lot of that, man. You got a lot of that out there, and it feels good
So
to be
I
able.
don't know if I can say this or not because I didn't ask you before we started recording, but I don't know if we can use cuss words or not to use cuss words.
No, I don't
But
mind, man. I don't mind. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to shut everything off, man. And
so
this is not for little kids anyway. But it is something to. We're grown ups, man. We're grown
one thing
ups.
I can tell you is people that always used to talk shit like that to me was my motivation.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit right back to you. I don't give a fuck what you gotta say.
yeah,
So to me, when somebody would say, "Oh man, he can't do it," or "Oh, you see how he's walking," there was a situation, and here's the funny part. I'm not gonna mention the person's name, um, but now the person and I are really good friends. But stuff happens in life. He apologized later on after the years, but when you get picked on and you get told, "Oh man, you walk funny. Why are you taking so long? You're still right there." Like you'd be like,
yeah,
"Damn fool! Like if you have to walk the way I have to walk, it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get to where you're at,
yeah,
right?" So that to me was kind of like I always had to build that persona of okay, you want to talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit back.
yeah,
And it's funny because my wife tells me all the time, like, "Hey, I'm not stop being defensive." But that's just I've always like that since I was a kid,
yeah,
and even as an adult.
yeah. There's people in the past, man,
So
that have made fun of me that have not never apologized to me. Those people, it's not worth even trying to talk back or trying to argue this and that. I just let it go, man. I just okay, whatever, man. And just go because when you talk back, in my opinion, to people that are just gonna be and you still prove them wrong and they still want to talk, it's no point of even trying to tell them anything because they'll never understand. But yeah, you're right, man. I agree with the people that talk mess. It's like okay, just watch and you'll see. I don't like
well,
to
see,
talk
and,
mess.
and
I
that's just
like
it. I'm very proud of who I become, and I'm extremely proud of who you become. Right?
yeah,
You have a very good profession that you're doing now, and to me, like if people could have saw where we came from, what we had to go through, like I'm proud to say what I've done. Like I've gone to college, I've
yeah,
got degrees. I have a DJ now. I do all kinds of different things that I can say. Yeah, what now? Like say something now. Half of them that were talking shit, that's what they're still doing now.
Yeah.
They're still talking shit.
Yeah, there's people that will continue to do so until, until their time comes. Basically, it might sound harsh, but, that's just the way they are. And there's nothing that we can do about that, but just to keep going forward. You really can't take care of everyone, but, the people that do talk mess out there, I agree with Pablo, man. It's like a motivator to those people that are dealing with the way that they live because this is the way they are, and there's no excuses for most that actually still push forward. I'm not gonna name no names, but I know other people that have what you would consider different than who everyone. Well, I don't want to say everyone because there's a lot of people in our position that understand and want to seek motivation, and some may think that this is the end of the world because this is how they grew up. I think everything does happen for a reason, for everyone in general, and anyone that is regular, if you want to call it that way. Everyone is being tested either way. I think we're being tested as lesser perfect or however you want to describe us as. We know we're all being tested, and I think it's up to you to make a difference, and you start somewhere, you know. But it's
For
always good to have
for
family.
for somebody, I want to say this for somebody that if whoever's listening to this podcast or this episode, um, and if you have a disability, one thing that I can tell you is it will get better. Like it's not gonna be like the you feel now. Um, you're not alone, and if you need somebody to talk to or somebody to understand what it feels like to be in that situation, talk to somebody, find you somebody that can relate. One thing I can tell you is it will get better. I mean, luckily, I will say this: Javi and I were blessed to be able to talk, to be able to move, to be able to go to work and do things. Some of us that have a disability aren't that lucky. But if you are lucky enough to be able to do, to be somewhat mobile and normal and have a brain and be able to function, just know that it does get better, and that God God knows how to fix certain things in your life. Uh, I never thought that I would have kids. I never thought that I would be married. That was the um, farthest thing of my mind, right? To be married and have children and be a father, right? So it's a different thing for me now. But one thing I can say to somebody that's going through it: keep your head up, fight like hell, and find what's your passion. If something motivates you, do it. If somebody that can encourage you and help you, then go for it. For the people that have the child with disability, uh, to our Hispanic parents, stop babying the child,
Oh
because
yeah,
that's the worst mistake that you can make. Oh, Mijito,
yeah,
you're gonna be with me for the rest of your life.
yeah.
I got you. No, it's not gonna be like that, because once you die, who's gonna take care of him? The
Because
state ain't
yeah,
got to. The state ain't got to take care of him.
that is true, man. We want to talk about confidence, not comfortability, man. We don't want to have the kid have two parents that always did everything for them and gave them money and they didn't have to work anymore and this and that. You gotta let them fight for themselves because once they, a lot of people say, because I've been through losses, I know many of you have as well, but they say be prepared. Okay, how do you prepare for someone that's about to pass away? There's no way to prepare, in my opinion. I think you gotta let them be strong for themselves, let them build their own dynasty, let them go their path, and they'll be smart enough to know what life is really about. And
Well,
just
you
to
hit the
touch
nail on
on
the
what
head. I think.
Pablo said, there's stories out there on YouTube other than this that people are gonna be telling you their experiences, and it's always good to listen to somebody else's voice and knowing that you're not alone in the world when it comes to dealing with the way that people look at you and the way that you're treated. So yeah, I agree.
One thing that I can say, Javi, is that I hated when teachers or people would say, es especial. Nah, I'm not special. I'm unique. Special is something that you got like I don't know. To me, special meant like something out of the ordinary, like weird. To me, like I want somebody to know that has a disability, man. Your story is not finished. Like your story is not what you think it's gonna be. You know, it was funny because just to me, the first day I went to college, man, I couldn't find. I was so pissed off because I couldn't find the classroom, right? So I kept walking around, walking around, walking around. I finally found it. One, it was far as hell because it was a long walk. So by the time I found it, dude, the class was already halfway over. So when I walk in, the professor was looking at me like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "I'm sweating, dude. I'm like dripping in sweat, right? Because I'm tired. And I'm trying to catch my breath, and I'm like, yeah, I belong in this class." And everybody just stared at you like, "What's wrong with this kid?" But what I can tell you is make your story. You are the author of your story. Um, just like Javi had, his people that motivated him. I have people that motivate me, and I have, so many people to mention to say thank you. And one thing that I can say is Javi's been on my butt about making this podcast. And at first I was kind of hesitant, man, because very delicate situation story to tell, right? Because
It
you're kind
is.
of you're kind of putting everything out there for people to listen, and then people think that they know who they are dealing with, right? You know, because just to kind of give you a brief background of my life now, I have three beautiful children. My wife and I, we went to school together, and after so many years of going to school, same thing that happened with you. We left school, and I went on to college. She went on to go do other things. We finally turned on Facebook, and we started dating. And dude, it was funny because we started talking. Well, not dating. We started talking first, and she would tell me, "Hey, man, I want to come over," and I would make an excuse. "Oh, man, I'm working late. I'm tired. Maybe next week."
Yeah.
So I had her like that for 2 months, bro. And I remember one night she called me. She was like, "If you don't give me your address tonight, that's it. We're gonna call it off." And I wanted to blow her off because I didn't want the situation to stop, right? Because I like having her around, but I was also afraid of rejection, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm already what 30, I don't know, the 20s, either late 20s or early 30s.
Yeah.
Um, but I was so scared of being rejected by her. And then when we finally met up, she was like, "What are you afraid of?" I said, "Man, it's not as easy to date somebody with a disability. It's not what you think."
Yep.
And the first thing she said, the magic word is, "I can handle it." I said, "Okay." We had our ups and downs for many years, but what I'm saying to you is, like we said before, your story is never written. You
Yeah.
you have to write your own story.
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody does have
So
a story, man. You look at the freeway, Pablo. You look at the freeway. You look at every car that's driving out there, man. Everyone has a story. That's one city. Imagine New York, California, overseas. Everyone has their own story, man. But I did want to ask you, uh, how's the confidence whenever your wife just tells you that? You have already answered it, Pablo, but every day it's like a boost of confidence that it gives you whenever you're, especially for you, man, because you have kids and they look up to you and your wife. That's beautiful, man. You know what I mean? And for me,
it's something that I can say that has been a struggle because as you know, having this disability as you get older, things stop working the way they're supposed to, and your body starts to shut down, little by little, right?
Yeah.
So the things that I could do before years ago, I can some of the things I can still do, some of the things I can't, right? So
Yeah.
we had to adapt. My wife and I had to adapt and learn and love each other and appreciate each other. That's the biggest thing, and accept each other for the good things, for the bad things, for the not so bad things, for the great things, and the not so great things. My children, man, I mean, to me, they're the biggest thing that God can give me, and they're the best gift that I could have. But at the same time, like, it's a struggle too, because you know, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my 4-year-old son said, "Daddy, get up," because we needed. I forgot what we were trying to do. I think I was trying to do something. He says, "Yeah, all you gotta do, Daddy, is get up and walk." And my 5-year-old daughter said, "No, Daddy's legs don't work," and it kind of hurt, but at the same time, like, it kind of made me proud to know that my daughter understood, right, and that my daughter accepted me. Like, she loves me to death. So she'll come and hug me and kiss me and tell me I love you, and the days that I'm hurting, the days that I don't feel good, that
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good,
I
man.
I never thought that was.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because I don't know, you remember, Pablo, I called you a few months ago when I found out that my sister did go to Burbank Middle School. So that's one thing I should have remembered. That well, I would have never known that you went to Burbank, man. But she had you as a friend, and all this time, my dad would ask me, "Hey, have you heard from Pablo? This and that." I go, "No, I think we lost track and this and that." But anyway, I hung out with Janet Avellaneda a few months ago. Well, last year sometime. I don't know if you remember, but long story short, they had you on their Facebook, and I'm over here wondering how you been, man, how you grew up and this and that. But it's crazy how life works, man. Like everything just happens for a reason, man. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I would have never known that, they have you as a friend. And here I am wondering, like, what happened to that man right there, man. But uh, one thing that I did tell you was, well, you asked me, are you married? You have any kids? I go, no, man. I don't know. You remember I said, I think it has to be because of the way I am, man. I called it my condition. That's what I called it, man. But you were right, man. You said it doesn't have to be, it's not about that. It has to be someone who's going to respect you, someone who's going to look past that, because it's not about that. It's about whether she feels you inside or not, man. And
Right.
I recently found a girl, that she looks, and she just looks at me and said, I don't see nothing wrong with you. I don't see why you're making a big deal, this and that. But it's hard to believe that when you don't have the experience of that. You don't really see a lot of people like that.
I don't
Uh,
I don't think it's more of experience, Javi. I think it's more of the fear, man. I think that we've gone through so much bullshit in our life.
yeah,
There's so many people that have looked down on us and said, ugly things, that has made our mind think that we're not accepted as
yeah,
people, as human beings, as a man. And so, like I told you before, and I told you that day that I talked to you, it took me a long time to get to that point, man.
yeah,
One thing I can say before this podcast is over, man, I have so much love for you, man, and so much respect for you that I mean, I I'm so thankful that we were able to connect and be able to do this again. You know, uh, unfortunately, we haven't been able to see each other because of the coronavirus crap. But um, one thing I can say, like I told you before, like I have mad respect. Uh, I know you lost your mom a while back, and I know that I have mad respect for you, for your sister, for your parents. Like, your parents were the most loving people that I ever met, and that they just like I told you on the phone when we talked that day. I'm so proud of what you're doing with yourself. And I'm so proud of that you have somebody now that you can say it's your own. So Uh, it just man, it just takes time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say that there were times where I thought about, what if I wasn't here? What if I committed suicide? It wouldn't be a difference. Or I don't know if you went through those points, but I went through those dark points
Yeah.
in my life where I cried my eyes out at home alone. Uh, and I thought about, okay, man, I don't want to be here anymore. What am I going to be here for? I'm going to be
Yeah.
alone, you know.
Yeah. That's true, man. That's
But
true.
God had a purpose. He had a purpose for me. He has a purpose for you. He has a purpose for everybody, man.
Yeah.
It may not be right now. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be a month from now. It may not be 2 years from now. Maybe
Yeah.
whenever. We
And
don't
I,
know.
and I hope we reach out with this episode, Pablo, to the people that are facing depression, feeling like they're alone. I just don't want to reach people that are with disabilities. I also want to reach out to people that, because I know people that have committed suicide in the past. It's not something fun. It just hurts everyone else. And when you're in depression, I never really felt the big part of depression, but I think I felt stints of it. But I also want to reach out to those people that feel like they're alone, like there's nobody there for them. I think number one is having somebody that's gonna lift you every day of your life, whether it be a friend, a cousin, family member, a coworker. It can go on and on. But I wanna just say that you gotta have confidence. You have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can you love anyone else? Well, aside
You
from
have
your
to.
family. And
I think love is that's a good word to use, but I think you have to accept yourself first.
yeah,
Because if you don't accept who you are, what you're about, you're not gonna love yourself because you can't accept what you see in the mirror.
yeah,
Is it gonna happen overnight? No. Uh, is it gonna happen 3 years from now? Maybe, maybe not.
yeah,
One thing I can say is if that person, if you're in that situation where you feel depressed and you feel alone and you feel like nothing matters and there's nothing in this world that matters, and somebody approaches you and says, "Hey, man, like I'm really going through this," like give them, talk to them, let you be in their ear and their because trust me, you can be the person that changes their life for the rest of their life. You're either gonna make them make the bad choice, or you're gonna make them make the right choice. Um, I've never shared this story publicly. So first, that I'm gonna say this. I don't even know why I'm gonna say this, but well, I'm gonna say it anyways. There was a. Because I think this will help somebody that I went through a very bad depression period in my life. Um, there was a moment in my life where I remember, yes, it was pouring down rain one night, and it was pouring down hard, like pouring, raining, and I had some pain medication in my house, in my apartment. Dude, I was tired. I was tired of life. I was tired of being alone. I was tired of all the bullshit. I was tired of being felt like nobody wanted me around. Like I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel like it was being appreciated. So I was saying, man, fuck it. I took a bunch of pills and I called my older brother and I said, bro, you need to come get me because I'm losing it. Well, dude, I don't remember. Like after calling him, all I remember, dude, is my brother pulled up in his truck. Thank God, but I was in the middle of the street, bro. Like in the middle of the street, pouring down, just crying in the middle of the street. Um, and my brother just came and got me and took me to my mom's house. My mom's like, "¿Qué te pasó? ¿Qué hiciste?" And later on, I told her what I did. She was like, "Why'd you do that for?" I said, "Because I don't want to be here anymore." So depression is real. It does happen, and you may think that you're not affecting somebody, but your words or your actions affect people. So one thing I can say is be careful how you say things to people, what you do to people, because you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting somebody else's life, and that's a sad thing to do.
Yeah, definitely want to be able to be a shoulder, be a happy face in somebody's life, whether it be in New York, whether it be in Australia, whether it be anywhere in the world. I definitely did this podcast because even though I don't like the way I sound on the microphone, I think it's just something that has to be told because when you upload it and you put it on YouTube or whatever it is, it's like you write your own story. You write your own Wikipedia basically, and people will remember you. And that's just something that can be deep for anyone, whether we're in 2020, 2025, 2050, 3000, it don't matter. Like it could be something that could always be remembered, and it's something that I feel like it's deep, deep, like a deep thing in my heart that could be something good for someone. And on that note, I basically want to congratulate Pablo for everything that he's done in his life. I'm proud of you as well, man. I'm glad that you're still here, that we kept in contact with all this 30 years plus. Basically, it's been a while, man. It's been a while, but we're gonna keep holding strong. We're definitely gonna make another episode. We'll see how it goes. Maybe you can have the next subject. We'll see. Is there any closing words that you want to give, Pablo, before we end it, man?
Yeah. So just real quick, bro, you said something that kind of lit a light bulb for me. You said I don't like the way I sound on the microphone, right? So I'm gonna ask you a question. Is there anybody else that sounds like you?
What do you mean? Anybody else sound like me as far as like a deep voice?
Yeah, how you communicate, how you talk, right?
Yeah, no, not that I know, man. I know.
So guess what? You are the most unique person on this planet.
I see where you're
No,
coming from.
nobody else is like you.
Yeah,
You're
that's
the
true.
most unique person on this planet.
That's true. I see where you're coming from, man. That's true.
So one thing that I can tell you, bro, is for me personally, I'm so damn proud of you. I'm so damn proud of what you're doing. I'm so damn proud of the person you become because little by little you're breaking out of your shell. Uh, One thing I can say is I was really surprised when you were like, man, yeah, I had my podcast. I was like, what? Javi has a podcast? What the hell? And then when I started listening to the podcast, um, I was like, wow. And it was funny because you called me today, and it's funny. I was listening to the last episode before this one, as, right before you called me, and just so you know what you're doing, it is helping people. Um, One thing that I can say just to close us out, man. Thank you for inviting me to do this. I hope that what we discussed helps people. Uh, if you want to reach out to Javi and leave him a message, man. If you want some words of encouragement or whatever, man, do that. Reach out, and if we can help in any way, myself, I'll be more than happy to do that. But hopefully we can do another episode again. I had a blast doing it, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Pablo. One last thing, man. Did you want to give your Instagram or something that people can follow you on, man? Or you want me to put
Man,
it on the description as well?
well, here's the thing. I don't even do it. I have Instagram, but I don't use it. Mainly, what I use mainly is Facebook, but you can find me as Pablo Fernandez on Facebook. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, if you want to reach out to me, as I told you before, I do DJ stuff too, and I think we could do another episode
Oh
regarding
yeah.
the different type of music that we
Oh
listen
yeah. Definitely,
to.
man. Definitely. I don't even have a top 10 yet, man. It's too hard to find, man. But definitely, man. Definitely, again, everybody appreciate y'all listening to my episode 5. We're definitely gonna keep it going. I'm glad I didn't give up on buying the podcast equipment because I'm definitely feeling good about reaching out to people that have felt the same or worse. But again, thank you, Pablo, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you.